Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanne. I am a law student from Melbourne, Australia, and we are talking today some legal matters. Now, I'm a law student, so nothing that I can't give legal advice, of course, and everything that I say is of my own opinion, and I would encourage you to do your own research and find out that we're talking about so that you are very well informed. So I have a few videos on my channel about the Bruce Lerhmann defamation trial. Bruce Lerhmann, I actually tried to do a diagram to try and explain this, but this is like a rabbit warren. Once you go in, you can't get out. Bruce Lerhmann sued Network 10 for defamation after they did a story from, and I'm using the words alleged victim. Hello, Keno. Alleged victim who had been essayed in Parliament. Yes, the government. And while wasn't named, he said he then there was criminal charges laid that got thrown out because of juror misconduct, and they decided not to retry because of the alleged victim. She'd spent some time in hospital due to mental stress. So then he went on another network and told his side of the story, and it's through this defamation hearing with Network 10 that we've heard about all the shenanigans that's gone on with Network 7, who did the alleged perpetrator's interview when the money that was paid. Despite both the 7 network and Bruce Lerhmann denying that any money had changed hands, there are receipts that contradict otherwise. And then, but wait, there's more. The person that showed all the receipts in court also admitted to sending nudes of another person to other people. Now, this person happened to be, at the time, the fiance of the owner of the 9 network. We've got the 3 major networks now entangled in the one court case. It's a mess. But Monday, His Honour is going to make his decision, and he's going to decide whether, on the balance of possibilities, Channel 10 was stating that their truth defense was plausible. It's not beyond reasonable doubt. It just has to be on the balance of probability. I am going to imagine that the decision on Monday, that everybody is going to be told off by the judge and His Honour. So I've got I want to talk about that. And then I want to talk about the other gift that keeps on giving, Katie Joy, and the fact that she's been called out by McKelty Brown now. McKelty, and she's well known and they know what she's doing. And it's hopefully people are in a position to get her to stop. But remembering also that she's got caught on Thursday. Today's been fairly quiet, but she's been definitely doubling down, and we have to go to Llama Girl and Without Balls to find out that information, because as quickly as people were posting their responses, it was being deleted. Someone needs to shut her up. Yes. I just don't understand it all. I mean, there's a reason why media outlets haven't jumped on this, and that's because there's no story, and there's no new information that's come out. What have we learned? Not really. Not much at all. So let me, first of all, we're going to start off. I want to start off with the Bruce stuff. We'll get on to the Katie Joy stuff. And yeah, let's have a look and see where else this takes us. So I have said multiple times that Bruce Lerhmann sort of reminds me a little bit of Katie Joy. I can see that there's a little bit of similarities because they're both very sure of themselves. So Judgement in Bruce Lerhmann get to be handed down on Monday. So it was supposed to be down on Thursday, but the case was reopened. They applied, Channel 10 applied to have the case reopened, which it did. So a new date has been set. He will deliver. He's announced that he will deliver his judgment on Monday, the 15th of April at 10:15 a.m. I will be out of action from 10:15 a.m. until this judgment's delivered. So he's suing over an interview on The Project in which Brittany Higgins detailed our allegations against an unnamed colleague. He launched the case after his criminal trial collapsed due to juror misconduct, leaving no findings for him. He's consistently denied the allegation that he hired Miss Higgins in the office of Senator Linda Reynolds, for whom they both worked in 2019. The defamation case saw both Mr. Lerhmann and Miss Higgins cross-examined at length. It also heard evidence from Miss Wilkinson. She was the journalist, and other Network 10 staff, people who testified that Miss Higgins disclosed her allegation. It wrapped up before Christmas, ready for the judgment, and then it was sensationally reopened last week because former Seven Network producer Taylor Orbach had several allegations about Network's dealings with Mr. Lerhmann. Those included sensational claims that the network reimbursed Mr. Lerhmann for money he spent on illicit drugs and engaged in sex workers while trying to secure an interview with him. Seven's denied the claim. Network 10 argued the new evidence was relevant to Mr. Lerhmann's credit and attempted to prove that he'd given false evidence while in the witness box. Network 10 mounted two defences. It sought to prove substantial truth of its reporting. Unlike a criminal case, it only needs to prove the claims to the civil standard on the balance of probabilities. It also argued its reporting attracts a qualified privilege defence given the significant public interest. So that is where we're at the moment. So that's happening on Monday. So I'm pretty excited about that because I'm wanting to see how that goes. So that's Monday at 10:15 a.m. There were some very interesting quotes from the judge. He said, just because somebody is untrustworthy doesn't mean that they haven't told the truth. So she's been very quiet on her networks today, but let's have a look. Let's just have a look here at, I'm just going to now go to Katie because I'm going to another recorded video on Bruce, I think. All right, so this is shocking reason for ditching the internet, and the business could be worse than we thought. Hello, Grace Lee, how are you? Okay, and then so we've got this one. Apparently, he threatens to sue ex-wives for kids disparaging, disrespecting him on social media. Be quiet or I'll sue you. Apparently, this is her allegations. And that's what, so there's not a lot new. I don't know when she did this one. Was this today? This was 18 hours ago, where she has absolutely gone. She said Gypsy Rose Blanchard's soon-to-be ex-husband has been on a social media blitz, sharing his side of the divorce. He posted a short video on Instagram promising that the truth will come out. So, and again, in the interview with the Daily Mail, Ryan said he was blindsided by Gypsy leaving him and returning with her ex-fiancé Ken. He blames Ken and Gypsy's childhood trauma for the marriage not working out. A source close to him, most likely his mum, stated Gypsy won't find anyone better than Ryan. Additionally, they claim that Gypsy pushed Ryan away due to her trauma from childhood. A source also tried to claim that Gypsy wasn't taking therapy seriously. Ryan also claimed he hadn't spoken to Gypsy since she left him. However, my sources have said Gypsy and Ryan have had numerous conversations since she left him. Additionally, Ryan was well aware of Gypsy's unresolved feelings for Ken. Ryan and Gypsy even fought right before their wedding because she still talked to Ken. As As far as therapy goes, my sources have stated that Gypsy regularly attended therapy. However, Gypsy's therapist was actually a close friend of Ryan's mum. Due to the therapist's tight relationship with Ryan's mum and family, she didn't feel as safe as she could opening up to the therapist. A therapist should remain neutral and not be someone that has any sort of bias or relationship with any of their clients or family clients. But you know what? Quite often therapists can be neutral, even if they do know people. But anyway, that's their job, to be neutral. But it's a bit like a reporter. A reporter's job's to be neutral and report on both sides of the story, right? As a result of this issue, Gypsy is currently in the process of transferring her case to a new therapist. She's presently looking for a clinic where she lives to help her out with outpatient needs. Ryan Anderson promises his followers and fans he will keep posting on plans to maintain this public platform, despite Gypsy deleting all public social media. Both agree their marriage is now over. At the time of reporting, neither have filed for divorce now. Everyone's saying, oh, well, he should stay off social media. Why should he? Hey? I don't know. But anyway, so again, she has, taken Gypsy's side because, of course, she knows better. But I saw a post to say that they had she filed for divorce. And this was just after she had but she said at the time there would be no divorce, but everybody else is reporting that they're getting divorced. So I'm just pulling this up. It says she files for divorce. So after 2 years of marriage and 3 months since release from prison, Gypsy Rose Blanchard and husband Ryan are splitting up, according to court records obtained by TMZ. So Katie Joy had said that there had been no files, no records, that they had not done it. There we go. She files for divorce. Filed for divorce on Monday. Remember, Gypsy announced her split order. So yes, so she has now filed officially for divorce. It would seem. And but as I said, Katie was saying no. At the time of reporting, she hadn't yet filed she hadn't yet filed yet. Funnily enough, it's just all been done. So it's been. No one has said what it's about. For somebody who is supposed to be friends with the family, she doesn't ever get anybody to report first. Okay. So let's look at some of these screenshots that have come out today and some of the comments. Because the other interesting thing is that the only thing that she posted today was the thing on Gypsy Rose. Now, either she's had a cease and desist, or and she's stopped posting, or she is being very occupied about her upcoming hearing on Thursday, because it's supposed to be a conference hearing to be able to talk about what the next how to proceed in the case. and set bits in motion for it. So, so let's have a look here. What have we got here? So let's first of all look at McKelty, because McKelty has called out, she's addressed Katie Joy. And so let's have a look and see what McKelty said. Thank you to Llama Girl for this. Okay, here we go.
Manner of other people's extremely personal, intimate details and dishonoring them. And that's just her. She's tactless. We have talked to different people. She can't be stopped, apparently, which sucks for everybody because she is dishonoring him. And it's awful. You know, what kind of vile person does stuff like that? But at the end of the day, hopefully she's supporting her family. Hopefully she has a guilty conscience. All right, you know. There's a lot of other YouTubers and vloggers out there, and I feel like for the most part, most people are about, you know, Garrison stuff. Manner of...
So there you go. That's what she said. All right. Has a guilty... I don't know why she thinks she can't be stopped. Maybe it's because they, you know, they know it's going to take money. But if TLC was to actually put some of their money, you know, if they were prepared to go for it, I reckon it would at least slow it down. But what content has she got other than this, to be honest with you? What would the other content be? So I don't know what it's going to take to stop. What my thoughts are, or people have asked whether or not this can be used in the case with 7M, and I said that I wasn't sure, and I still am not sure. I've not looked it up. But you can use, I guess it's evidence of repeated behavior. There is nothing to say where if the judge says, how are you certain, you know, if KJ's lawyer says, well, Your Honor, you know, she's not going to do that again, and 7M can turn around and say, well, actually, she's still doing it. And here's the example. Here's all the time she's done it, and now she's doing this, and this, and this. So it possibly could be used to show a pattern of behavior. And it's really is great when it comes time to damages, because the judge will say, because you repeat this behavior and you seem to not have understood, or you're not going to learn, I can give you a very harsh penalty. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, and by the way, I guess if you're all here, you missed the rapture last night. So I didn't get taken away in the rapture. I missed the rapture too. So it was supposed to be the rapture last night. So I missed out. But I don't believe there's any less. I don't believe there's any more housing. So what are your thoughts on all of this? How do we stop her? I mean, I know there are people that are reporting her videos. I know there are people that are reaching out to social media platforms. I know that there is an account on TikTok that they've said is posting all of her stuff that is assumed to be hers, and people have said they've reported it, and it's come back and said that yes, it violates TOS, their terms of service. I don't have any. I don't know what can be done other than to keep. Seems like nothing will. Well, the only way they can do it, I think, is to seriously, it's going to have to be done through the courts. I don't know of any other way that she can do it. I don't know of any other way, and it's going to cost lots of money to do it. The only other way that I think it can be done is if her lawyers were to give her a really serious talking to, but then I don't know that that's going to help. But I think they should send her a cease and desist, and I think they should try and quieten her down, and they should try. They've got to try. You have to try, because this is not right. And there are code of ethics. And don't forget that most journalists will you need to be very, very empathetic, because quite often you're dealing with traumatic events. And most people that I know know somebody that has taken their own life and know how horrible it is. And that's why nobody is saying that the Browns are a perfect family or anything. What we've said is what's happened to them is a tragedy, and we feel for them as human beings who have experienced a similar tragedy. You know what? We give them some time to grieve, and then we start again. Then we can start, wait for the new season to come out. So, but I think I'm really not sure how and when she knows that her audience are mainly, I guess, middle-aged women and mothers, sometimes of children of similar age, you just need to be very, very careful. And again, be very, very much aware that you may be triggering the people that you are saying that you are supposed to be helping. And that's where I have big issues with. I just can't let it. And I saw this morning, it was my evening, and she was talking about how distressing it was. We sort of need to keep calling it out, but we don't want to keep giving her exposure, but it's got to be called out. This is not on. This is private stuff. I want to have a look at, Playboard again, because I want to have a look at her views, because from what we saw yesterday, the stuff with the police footage did not do very well. So let's have a look. Let's go to views. Oops. Oh, that's my views. I don't care. Let's have a look. Without a Crystal Ball is a multimedia digital content and news outlet. So again, gone up. Oh, she's had 100. Oh, no, that was a. So she's got here. So there's 12,000 Ks for one there. Exclusive Garrison's tenant 76,000, 18,000. The only good thing is people are tuning off. People are turning off. Her views have tanked. they've dropped off. I guess that is the only good thing that we can, is that nobody's watching this footage. Nobody's interested because everybody's called her out. So let's just have a look here. Although it still says she got 139,000 views, 136,000, 151,000, 17, 97, 94, 145,000, 108,000, 98,000. But she's still got these occasional, I mean, she was getting 300,000 views earlier. Look, there's one that she deleted. She lost 22,000 views. Yeah, so for the whole day, all of her videos got 139,000 views. But 2 days ago, over the weekend, this was really low. So this is Tuesday, Monday, Sunday. Yeah. So, you know, her average, if her average views are 138,000 a day, she's getting below average now. Oh, she just hit her average today. So but yeah, definitely it's all over the place. It's all over the place. That's from we're going to go let's go last 30 days. Let's see last 30 days. See, look at this. So Saturday, her views tanked. Friday, her views tanked. Thursday, views tanked. Sunday, yeah, so it's all over the place. So people are watching, just not those videos, I think, her channel, because it doesn't tell us what they're watching. See, this is 56,000. Did the Gypsy one, 33,000 on that one. So yeah, it's really bizarre, really, really bizarre behavior. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like it, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's just so crazy to me. Yeah. So she's doing 8 videos per week on average. Well, we know there probably won't be much on Thursday happening. Tomorrow's the day before. She's got to go to courts happening. So I think maybe the next day or something she will be hopefully preparing for court. And the other thing about court is that all of her releasing information, police information, public or not, may also convince the judge to keep stuff under seal. Because remember, one of the concerns 7M's had was that if she got hold of it, she would broadcast it around. And again, what has she done? She's broadcasted it. So there's lots of different concerns that 7M have got that they brought up their concerns, that they can show that she's still doing to this day, and they can say this is why she needs to be held accountable, because she's still doing this. Let me go back to, you might fall asleep on me, Bo. Okay, that's all right. You wouldn't be the first person to fall asleep on me. Oh dear, I might fall asleep on myself. I've got a question to ask you. What's the picture like your end with my new camera and my new setup? Do you like it? Or is it a lot clearer, a lot easier? The cat woke you up. Oh, I've got a story to tell you. Cat. All right, here it is. I went to get a coffee today from this guy. He is the manager of a really nice cafe. If you're ever in Melbourne and you need to find a good cafe, I can point you there. Anyway, knows how I like my coffee. Anyway, teacher, and I said, yeah. He goes, have you ever heard of children identifying as fur? And I went, no. He said, well, I had a customer in here the other night that was telling me that in her classroom she has 2 children that identify as fur kids. They could be a cat one day and a dog the other day. And she was really annoyed. Actually she has to change all the lessons to accommodate these fur kids. And I said, well, if I was a parent and one child was getting to have a sleep during class, I'd want my kid to have a sleep too. My son thought he was Superman when he was young. That didn't mean I let him jump off the roof. Now we're talking about 10-year-olds here. I was a little bit shocked because I didn't realize that we were at that stage here. I knew it was probably coming, but as far as I knew, yes, seriously. I thought it was a joke too. Seriously, Keno. Seriously. And I went, no way. And it's in my area. It's a school in my area. So I'm trying to find out where the school is because I want to know more about it. But yes, the teacher has to allow. I am blurry. Ooh. All right. Well, all right. I'll see what I can do. I'm blurry. Oh, try this. Is this better? Yeah, I was really, really, really surprised. But she was saying about how much extra work it's put on her to accommodate these students because of this fact. She said teaching's hard enough, but now she can't provide, they can't sit at a table. They have to lay down on a mat. They can't have a lunchbox. They have to have their lunch in a bowl. And I just, no way. This has got to be a joke, but it's not. So yeah, so you reminded me, Bo, when you talked about the cat. That's suddenly you reminded me of that. Hopefully now that's better and I'm not blurry anymore. Some people might say I look good blurry. So yes, so you talking about much pretty wild, hey. I don't know how I feel about that. Really, I just don't know how I feel about that. I have no problem with people being. Joe, you would nearly to look at over open. Thought they were giving you should cover it. Really? Renshaw High School debacle. Wow. All right, let's have a look. Okay. Over a beast. Talk. There we go. When I don't move, I'm sorry, I move a lot. As we know, I move a lot. I can't sit still. The loonies. Oh well, as I said, I'm pretty. I'm finding it pretty crazy. Yeah, very crazy. I have to say I've not encountered it. I do know of a parent. I do know of a parent of parents who are currently battling the government at the moment because their daughter's 14 and wants to go onto hormones. Okay. Aha. And they've been told, it was Renmark High School. Okay, yeah. All right, yeah, and so they said that the parents have said when the child's 18, if she still wants to look at transitioning, they will consider it, but they think that at the age of 14, she's got some other issues, got some other mental health issues going on, and they just think that it's very complex, but the government's actually told them that if they don't agree, that they will actually they may remove her from their care. That's okay, I found it. Renmark High School. It's in country South Australia. 9 girls at Renmark High School say they were given a presentation on respectful relationships that included references to bestiality. Wow. The ABC understands the teacher was not present for the presentation, which was delivered by a third party, facilitated by Headspace Berry. The South Australian Department of Education is investigating a presentation delivered to Year 9 students in a regional high school that allegedly referenced bestiality being accepted by the LGBTQIA community. The high school told them to leave their lessons and attend a presentation in separate classrooms. Students who attended the presentation say 2 staff from Headspace Centre in a neighbouring town of Berry introduced a third-party presenter who facilitated relationships. Parents said they were not notified about the presentation, nor was it consented to. Well, it should have been consented to. Students said they were left unsupervised for the duration of the presentation. Student Courtney White said she felt confused and blindsided by the presentation. We had a teacher that told us to grab a chair and sit in front of the board. Then the Headspace people came in and then the teacher left. So we're sitting in front of a board alone with no teachers, just Headspace people. The first slide of the PowerPoint on the board was, "You can see clearly now and no point hiding." 14-year-old Emma Wandenberg said the presenter was graphic when referencing her own sexual preferences and spoke in sexually explicit terms about growing up and being confused about whether they idolized people of the same gender or wanted to be intimate with them. Students said they were given an explanation of the initialisms LGBTQIA+, with each word and its meaning displayed on the screen. There was a slide for what the plus means, and they just started randomly saying words no one knew, like bestiality. It was on the board when they were showing what the plus meant. The student said bestiality was then explained in detail, and the presenter seemed to imply it was something practiced by people who identified by LGBTQIA plus people. They said the queer community just accepts all of it, even though it is, though they said the queer community accepts all of it, even though isn't it illegal, Amelia said. As the talk went on, multiple girls, including Courtney Fell, began. Well, that's right. It is illegal. I was going to say it's illegal in this country, isn't it? As the talk went on, multiple girls, including Courtney, began to feel uncomfortable and asked to leave the classroom to go to the bathroom. We're just all sitting there like, what the hell? What are we doing here? Why are we learning about animals having sex with humans? She said. It was really disgusting and uncomfortable. Immediately, many of those who asked to leave the classroom did not return. ABC sought comment from the presenter. A response was sent on the person's behalf, asking that the reporters refrained from reaching out or naming them in their coverage. Of course they don't want to be named. Of course they don't want to be reached out because they want to be held accountable for what they're doing. Letters sent by the ABC that was sent to parents on behalf of Renmark High School Principal Matt Evans stated that the presentation was meant to discuss respectful relationships. The letter acknowledged that the normal procedure for notifying parents ahead of a specific presentation was not followed. Mr. Evans said the third-party presenter had been suspended from department schools while the department undertakes an investigation. We are undertaking an internal review to ensure that processes around such notifications and procedures with regard to third parties attending our schools are always met. The ABC of the Education Department, which provided a similar statement and said the presentation was being investigated. South Australia Education Department Chief Executive Matt Westwell, the presentation was unacceptable and shouldn't have happened. Speaking with ABC Radio Adelaide on Thursday, Professor Westwell said conversations about sexual health, society norms, stereotypes and sexuality were normal parts of the Australian curriculum, but the presentation at Renmark High School was not. The core ideas that students should understand sexuality and other sexualities is, I think, really important, but the way the presenter went about this was unacceptable. The school has clearly made some mistakes. I don't even know why they're talking about why you would even let bestiality be discussed. It's disgusting. There should have been a teacher in the room when it occurred, but there wasn't, and the principals apologized for that. They hadn't reviewed the content. There were a few things that went wrong, and it ended with this inappropriate language and a few things being discussed in that session that were not appropriate. They're year nines. Headspace National Heads of Clinical Leadership Nicola Palfrey said the organisation were aware of concerns raised by the members of the Renmark community. We take feedback seriously and are reviewing how we can support and guide Headspace events to ensure presentations they facilitate or deliver are aligned with evidence and best practice and are safe and appropriate for young people. Focus One Health Board Chair Ian Gartley said the focus at Headspace Berry, operated under the licence by Focus One Health, is on the mental health and well-being of young people. We are aware of concerns raised by local members of the Renmark community following the presentation delivered at a lived experience speaker that Headspace Berry facilitated at Renmark High School. Our priority is now ensuring that any young people and their families who may be experiencing distress receive the support they need. Well, I don't think they're going to go back to them to get their support, are they? All parties involved in the alleged incident declined to provide presentation to the ABC. Following the presentation, a follow-up letter seen by the ABC was sent to parents offering counselling services from the Education Department, which had arranged the social worker to attend the school and help support affected students. Parents of the students who attended the presentation said it was poor representation of the queer community and had raised concerns about the school's protocols for third-party presentations. See, my problem is I have no problem with what you want to identify as. I have problems with you with things like this. Who vetted the material? Who made sure it was safe for 14, 15-year-old girls? Some of them are still 13, Amelia's mother, Christy Fife, said. It has done a huge disservice to the queer community. It's always these people these extreme, I'm calling them extremists, that ruin it for the good, decent people out there. Following the presentation, Courtney's mother removed 3 of her children from Renmark High School. My kids are in limbo. They're not in an education department at this point. I'm putting them anywhere until I know this won't happen again. Under no circumstances should a child in school ever feel trapped and unsafe without someone with their certificate, meaning a teacher. The ABC has spoken to 5 other parents whose children attended the presentation. They substantiated the 2 girls' claims. Sexuality educators and LGBTQIA plus inclusion advocates, Mel Brush and Eleonora Bersha-Fush, conduct consent and queer inclusion trainings for school, parents and workplaces via their social enterprise, Let's Talk About X. Both are secondary teachers, and Bersha said the queer education was important, but it should be delivered in a safe and appropriate setting. The teachers are the people that these young people have a relationship with, and they are familiar with what they're comfortable with, she said. When you're in a vulnerable situation, like a respectful relationship in workshop or seminar, there should be someone in the room you are familiar with. Ms. Brush said the alleged use of the word bestiality in the presentation was damaging to the queer community. It's pretty shocking to think about that term being thrown around like that, given how loaded it is, and for a historical context of the way that it's been used as a slur to discriminate against LGBT plus people. So yes, these extreme people really make it really do a disservice to the community. And yet it's these extremists that seem to get the voice. Wow, that was pretty shocking, wasn't it? So we have some real problems at the moment. I time and time again, I'm sort of glad that I grew up when I grew up, and I'm glad I had my kids when I had my kids, because I could not deal with now as a parent. I just don't think I could. Oh, I need to just segue back to Bruce Lerhmann for a moment. Look at this. Talking about things that make you mad. False rape allegation victim survivor, Mr. Bruce Lerhmann, keynote speaker at a conference called Restoring the Presumption of Innocence conference. He's going to be the keynote speaker at a conference called Restoring the Presumption of Innocence conference. False rape allegation victim survivor. He's still dealing with two charges in Queensland, and he was never actually been cleared. It was discontinued. They could take it back up and they might see some of this evidence from the case and be out. I mean, there still could be some criminal charges yet. How do we go from kids sitting in baskets to traumatizing seminars? I don't know, Bo, but that's what we do here. We had the rock and roll band Hush come to our school. Let's go back to those days for kids. Well, let kids be kids, I say. I think because Bo, we were talking about education and the strangeness, that's the stuff that's happening into schools at the moment. So yeah, so there you go. So Bruce Lerhmann is being portrayed as a victim. So Oh, that's why I said the loonies are in control. Yes, the loonies are in control. I don't know. Now I know what a yeah, well, that's right. I do know. I do. I don't know how I'd teach a cat pet. So does that mean that if I have a student that wants to learn piano and they identify as a cat, does that mean I let them walk all over the piano? Is that how that works? Actually, my son actually was really fun. Like my son, I was saying to my son about it, and he said, "Well, he said, therefore, I could say I'm a bird, and you've got an excuse to poop all over cars. Really gross, but I mean, if that's where we're going, that's where we're going, right? Go poop on the car of the person that allowed you to be a bird in class. Yeah, they'll knock all your ornaments off the top shelf. You're identifying as a unicorn? Nice. I wouldn't mind identifying as a cat. I wouldn't mind sleeping all day. Having a little bit of energy burst, run around crazy for half an hour, and then go back and sleep for 3. I reckon I could do that. So if you could, in fact, I decided I'm going to identify as rich. I'm going to identify as a millionaire. Or a VIP. I'll identify as being a VIP. I'll identify as a VIP. So, but I mean, where does it stop though? Where does it stop? Actually, a koala is another animal that sleeps all day. Might identify as a koala. And then I was told, so the guy that told me about the cat story told me that he went to watch his niece play soccer the other day, and it was girls. I identify as the prime minister, but that's just being cruel to myself. And then he talked about the fact that there was a boy on the girls' team, and he questioned it, and they said, "Oh yeah, he decided he was a girl today." And they said, "Well, what do you mean?" "Oh, he didn't want to play with the boys, so he wanted to play with the girls. So he said he was a girl, and he was allowed to play." And he said they lost 5-2. He kicked all the goals, didn't he? So I don't know. I And again, you just can't change your gender because you don't want to be one, because you don't want to, like he said, they said that he didn't want to play against the boys because they were big boys. So he decided he wanted to identify as a girl so he could play with the girls. That to me is not a good reason to identify as a girl. I couldn't find my cat for 2 hours today. I accidentally locked her in a cabinet. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh. Oh. So for those of you on the other side of the world, how was the eclipse? Was the cat? Oh, the cat could have been trying to identify as a drunk, and drank all the alcohol. Oh, the whole closet. Oh dear. Oh. Oh boy. Not into the eclipse stuff? Well, that's all right. We were on the wrong side of the world. We were sleeping when it happened, so didn't see anything. So did not help. Did not work. I was too far away and haven't even checked out the coverage yet, right? The only thing I liked about the eclipse was the 2 big T-Rex statues on their with their special glasses. Every time I hear it, the word, every time people start talking about eclipse, I always think, total eclipse of the heart. That's all. Yeah, I think we were asleep, so because it mainly happened over North America, so it was nowhere, you know. Oh, look at this. Someone made a creative look at this creative costume here. Oh. Look at all the people watching. Hello, Vidandra. How are you? Yes, and I've got Adobe. I did watch some countries. I bet it was. I'm trying out Adobe Premiere Pro, and I'm still trying to get my head around it at the moment. But I've got a planning video that I'm trying to get to do with that to make it all a little bit fancy. So I'm not going to be putting sparkles on it though. We're not going to have sparkles. So So I did allude to this last week, but it was back in court today. Tickle versus Giggle, and like we've just been talking about, my planning video is long overdue, Vidandra. I know, it's crazy. Tickle versus a transgender woman sues female-only online refuge for alleged discrimination in landmark case. So this is what I talked about last week. A transgender woman was rejected from an online women's only platform. An app intended as an online refuge for women became a site of alleged gender identity discrimination. The court has heard in a landmark case that will test the meaning and the scope of the Sex Discrimination Act. This also could have effects internationally because it's about something and it's about a web, an app. But once this happens, I mean, depending on what happens here, it could, it's landmark. Roxanne Tickle, a transgender woman from regional New South Wales, is suing the women-only social media platform Giggle for Girls after being blocked from using the app. In a lawsuit, yes, I wouldn't mind them. Yes, huge law books. I would. In a lawsuit filed December 2022, Tickle claimed she was unlawfully barred from using Giggle in September 2021 after the firm and its CEO, Sal Grover, said she was a man. Tickle is seeking David. Now, if I remember rightly, you had to send a photo in and the AI rejected the photo. This case is the first time alleged gender identity discrimination has been heard by the federal court and goes to the heart of how gender identity and being a woman is interpreted. Let me give you an email and give me an email there and send me an email and we'll take it from there. All right. Okay. So this goes to the heart of how gender identity and being a woman is interpreted. On Tuesday, federal court justice Brombridge heard Tickle as a woman since 2017, has a birth certificate stating that her gender is female, has gender affirmation surgery, and feels in her mind that psychologically she's a woman. In her opening remarks, Tickle's barrister Georgina Costello-Casey that Miss Tickle is a woman, but that the respondents flatly deny that. The respondents have insisted on describing Miss Tickle as a man and using he. She said people can change their gender, and that's what's happened here. Tickle gave evidence late on Tuesday afternoon when asked to detail what living meant to the accountant, described taking hormones that changed her body, having gender affirmation surgery, and undergoing social transition. Her gender markers on government documents, and spent time and money on her wardrobe and removing her facial hair, as well as using female change rooms and playing in a female hockey team, she said. Up until this instance, everyone has treated me like a woman, she told them. I do from time to time get frowns and stares and questioning looks, which is quite disconcerting, but they let me go about my business. Giggle and Grover's barrister, Bridie Noland, said the focus must be on biological sex. Now, this is also very interesting because both of the lawyers in this case, the barristers are on this case, actually female, women. And we've changed. We actually have done a complete 360 degrees. Like we've changed the whole how this stream was going, but that's okay. So sex is discriminatory, always has been and always will be. Biological sex must prevail, she said when referencing legislative intention of the Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women's Insertion into the Discrimination Act. Changes to the Act in 2013 made it unlawful under federal law to discriminate against a person on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity, or intersex status. The court heard that Grover started the app after receiving trauma therapy for social media abuse while living in the US. It would be a place without harassment, mansplaining, stalking, aggression, and vision to create an online refuge, said Nolan. Onboarding to the app required the user to take a selfie, which was verified as female by Kairos AI gender detection software, and then a human. It was intended to be an unobstructive way to verify gender, the court heard. Tickle claimed the software identified her as female in 2021, but that her membership was later revoked. The court has heard that from its NASA suit, the app came under attack. Grover was labelled as trans exclusionary, radical feminist, or TERF, and received thousands of applications from men who attempted to join. By September 2021, the app had 20,000 users, but was shut down in August 2022. In social media posts in 2022, Grover described Tickle as trans-identified male and alleged Tickle wanted her to be re-educated. Defense is expected to call evolutionary biologist Colin Wright to give evidence in trial. The Human Rights Commission, including Sex Discrimination Commissioner, is acting as a friend of the court, assisting by providing submissions about the scope, meaning, and validity of the Sex Discrimination Act. Tickle made a complaint about Giggle to the Human Rights Commission in 2021. Giggles for Girls legal costs are being covered by a crowdfunding campaign, which had raised $471,000. Supporters of Giggle and Tickle gathered outside the federal court on Tuesday morning wearing the colours of suffrage. The trial is expected to run 4 days and is not being live streamed due to the unacceptable online behaviour during an interlocutory hearing in April 2023. So yes, we can't. The only way you can actually get to see it is if you sit there in person, because they're not doing that because it created apparently there was something that happened in 2023 last year, and so it's been banned. They're not going to do it as a live stream. So Giggle versus Tickle versus Giggle. I thought it was a joke when I first saw it. That is a public interest case in the Australian Federal Court. I'll show it to you. We looked at it briefly though. So public interest cases, you can get lots of information with exception, and they redact everything. So this is the only way. So here it is, Roseanne Tickle versus Giggle for Girls. And then this is it here. And so it's currently in the so it's a human rights matter. 10th, 11th, 12th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. There we go. Oh, did I? Oh, all right, I'll have a look. I did write it. I mean, let me have a look. Oh, you know what I've done? I know what I've done wrong. I gave you that. I did it wrong. That's all right. I'm just like an idiot sometimes. Oh dear. It should be oh yeah. Oh no, I was right. So it did bounce back. Joe's Pearls and Gems at joannex.com. Okay, I'll give you another one. These are all generic ones anyway. Like these are ones. That's right. Try that one. Oh no, I have everyone emailing me now, and that's all right. I have a few of them anyway. So yeah, so that's, as I said, it's Roseanne Tickle versus Giggle for girls. So this is going to be interesting because probably it's going to come down to the definition of what is a woman. So it's going to be a very interesting case. So there we go. Anyway, I've been online an hour now. I think that's about me. I'm going to also do, I'm hoping to do some recorded stuff and work out how Premiere Pro works so I can finally upload a video that I've been working on for a little while. And yes, I will, I'll be back. I'm really enjoying my new computer. So thank you for joining me. I hope you all have a great day. And look, we need to just I'll keep calling out Katie Joy as long as she keeps posting. But I'm thinking for the most part, hopefully she'll be quiet for the next 2 days because she'll be otherwise engaged preparing for court. Anyway, I will catch you later. If you could do me a favor and hit like and subscribe, that would be great. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.